Good evening, you lovely lot. I hope you are okay this evening. I'm just going to wait and see. I'm actually just watching to make sure this goes live on all the platforms that I've put it on, and it seems to be okay, so that's good. I hope you can hear and see me okay. I'm a bit red this evening. I've been for a very nice pamper this afternoon and had an ultimate facial, and I've had lashes and brows done. And I can't wear any makeup for 48 hours, and I'm like a beetroot. It was particularly painful, but really refreshing at the same time. So I've had a really nice pampering afternoon this afternoon, a gift to myself just to keep me going. We all need that from time to time. So tonight, I wanted to just show up and try and consolidate the messaging over this last month when I've been talking about the first painting that I'd done in 25 years, Born to Be, not this one that's behind me, that's a different one. I've been sharing with you all month snippets from that painting and lessons and learnings. And I wanted to try and bring that together tonight for you, just to really, A, consolidate the message, and B, give you a bit of a shove, if you like, in the right direction. Because when I'm doing these lives on a Tuesday night, I like to think about what it is that I'm going to help every single one of you to understand and to achieve in your lives, but particularly in your business. Because at the bottom line of it, I am a very experienced business lady who has been a senior leader and had my own business for 10 years. So I bring a lot to the table, and I want to share that so that you can get there quicker than I did. That's why I show up on a Tuesday night. And over the last month, it's actually been a real big lesson for me, diving deep into the meanings behind one single piece of art. Somebody challenged me, a friend of mine challenged me and said to me, why don't you just take one of your pieces and see if you can talk about it for a full month, a full 28 days, and see if you can get the message and the lessons across to your audience that you learned in doing the piece. And it's such a big thing to talk about. And what I want to bring that into tonight is that we spend so long in our lives, way too long. It's one of the biggest regrets that people have when they're dying, that they haven't truly followed their dreams. Amongst others, it's one of the biggest regrets that people experience. And we all have this huge desire to do something in our life. We're drawn to something. Every single one of you that's listening to me right now, whether it's on live or whether it's on replay, and please make a comment, say whether you're live or on replay, and if you're watching on replay, tell me where you're watching from and tell me if any of this helps you, because it's really good for me to learn. I know I look like a beetroot, but hey-ho. Didn't even say who I was. Sorry, it's Mandy Nicholson here. For those of you that are new and haven't watched me before, Mandy Nicholson, creative genius, consultant, artist, and author. And all month I've been talking about the very first painting, the one that took me back into my creative power. It's not my best painting. It's not certainly something I'm not proud of, but it's not my best painting. And it was this shove from my husband that pushed me back into following my dream. And each and every one of us has this dream, this thing that we are drawn to. It's an invisible cord that pulls us towards this thing that we truly want to do. It's our soul's purpose. It's what makes us connect and really feel fulfilled. And many of us don't follow that path. Many of us go out there and do something different because that's what life demands, that's what society demands, that's what our friends, family, loved ones, parents demand from us. Not demand, but it happens. It just, sometimes life just happens and it doesn't follow that path that fills you full of this passion that is your drive forward. And it's nobody's fault, because we get caught in this treadmill, this hamster wheel of life, this treadmill that takes us through life, where we feel like there's something missing. So I wanted to introduce to you tonight the perfect square, and I want to talk to you about you. Not me, about you. Forget the painting. I'll talk about the meaning of the painting and how it gave me an aha moment and an epiphany, but this is about you. And I introduced very briefly in the post that went out this morning and mentioned the perfect square. Now, I use a model called the perfect square in my signature program. It's not my model. It's borrowed and adapted from a very amazing lady called Florence Scovel-Shinn, who wrote a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Now, if you've never read that book, you should read that book for no other reason than to understand that there was a woman in 1928 who was an artist and an illustrator and a public speaker who was talking about the principles of The Secret before it was a Hollywood movie and before it was a book. In our generation, and she was talking about these principles, and she introduced the perfect square. And she doesn't introduce it like I do. I've got a model that I use with it. And this perfect square concept that she had was about your life, and that your life is made up of 4 sides. And that's love, health, wealth, and self-expression. And when we focus on 1 or 2 things and not all of those areas on our life, it can leave us feeling unfulfilled. It can leave us feeling like something is missing. And that something missing can be that driving force that is your soul's purpose. And we will never feel wholly fulfilled. We may actually move through the entire journey of our life feeling like there's something missing and not knowing what it is, when we don't balance our life using all 4 of these areas of the perfect square. So I introduced that briefly this morning in the post that went out. So I didn't want to not cover it. So that's love, one side of the square, health, wealth, and self-expression. And guess which one is the one that is often the most neglected? It's self-expression, because there are many, many people out there that are creative in one way or another, which is your self-expression, your ability to express yourself. We all express ourselves in different ways. It can be from the way that we dress, how we color our hair, the jewelry that we wear. The punks were really great creative expressionists, weren't they? The way that we paint, the way that we craft, the way that we write, the way that we sing, dance, go to the theatre, be in the play, at the theatre. So many different ways of expressing ourselves, yet so many things that are often neglected that we once loved. And when I decided to step back into that, to pick up that self-expression in my life, the epiphany that was mine was huge. And this is what I want for you. This is what I want you to experience if you're feeling at that level in your life right now. When my husband gave me the shove into moving back into my creativity, and I created that first painting, what I was doing was really re-exploring what I was capable of and whether it was something that I truly wanted to go back to. Now, that was January 2019, and we are here in September 2020, a year and a half, maybe a year and 8 months later. And I have not only painted that painting, I am on painting number 7. I have launched my dream business that I truly love. I have written a book, signed a 3-book deal with a publisher in a year and a half. So what I want the message to be to you tonight is that it is entirely possible for you to be able to step. Just bought it on Audible. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. It's amazing. It's entirely possible for you to step back into something that you've always wanted to do and create a business from it. and create some success from it and experience the joy and the balance in your life that brings when you step back into that missing piece, that missing side that perhaps you're not focusing on at the moment. Now, I'm not saying that I want you all to run out there to the nearest art shop and buy loads of art equipment and become creatives. It might not be that's your thing that's missing. I don't know what it is. Only you know what it is. So that's the question I want you to ask yourself tonight is, are you following your soul's purpose? Are you following that pull towards something? Or are you being pushed along the treadmill that has become the habitual life that you're living? And if you have, do you know what? I was no different to you. That's exactly who I was a year and a half ago. Exactly. We are the same. The only difference is somebody shoved me off it. And the person that shoved me off it gave me the greatest gift of my life. And I want to do the same for you in giving you the shove off the treadmill of life and towards your soul's purpose. Because we should all do that. And do you know what I hear so often is that, it's really hard to make money as a creative. It's really hard to make money when you're a solopreneur, when you're an entrepreneur. It's only hard if you don't know how. So let me give you some statistics right now, right here, I'm just actually not going to accept any excuses from you tonight. So I'm just going to give you a number of reasons why you can do it. All right. First things first, I am 55. At 55 years old, I decided to leave behind everything I knew, everything that worked for me, everything that was bringing me a regular, comfortable income into my life, and step into the great unknown. Finally got off the treadmill this year. It's Rebecca, by the way. I know you did, Rebecca, and what an amazing feeling it is, isn't it? You know that more as much as I do. Yeah, it was the biggest gift getting that shove off the treadmill, and I want to shove you off the treadmill. I really do. Yeah. So I'm 55 years old and I took the plunge last year and it could have failed. But you know what? If I hadn't done it, would I ever have forgiven myself for not trying? And I didn't just try. I worked really fucking hard. I have worked really hard this last year and a half to do all of the things that I've done. It's not an easy ride. There are no free rides. Yeah, there is no free dinner. You have to work for what you want. But if you really want it, it really doesn't feel like work. And people ask me how I achieve as much as I achieve. Because I love it. That's the answer. Because I love it. And if you are doing something that you love, none of it feels like work. So let me give you some statistics right now. And these are statistics that I have looked up today because I wanted to know. Okay. Online business, online education, online learning. Yeah. Just that side of the online business, not the products. I'm going to move on to them in a moment. Online business was up 367% year on year at the end of March this year. And it's still on the rise. Do you know why? Because the internet didn't close. Shops closed, businesses closed. The internet did not close. And the figures are backing that up. Product-based businesses, online retailers, and people who sell product, bespoke product, individual businesses, products in general, up 42% year on year. The people who are selling online products right now have $107 billion more in their bank accounts than they did at the same time last year, thanks to that 42%. So, was there ever a better time to think about creating your dream business and taking it online? No, there was never a better time. So, what I would suggest that you do if you are in a place where you're on the treadmill, you're on the hamster wheel, You don't know what to do. Maybe you're furloughed. Maybe your job is insecure. Perhaps now is the time to take that plunge, that leap of faith, and follow your soul's purpose, your dream. Because the internet is still not going to close. And it's never been a better time to have an online business, and you can sell anything online. I can sell art online, books online, courses online. Yeah, you can sell anything online. So stop your excuses. I had a million excuses when Gary gave me that shove, and he was sick of hearing them. I was too old, didn't know the tech, didn't think I could do it, didn't think I was good enough as an artist, didn't think I'd be as good as the younger people out there that were producing all this great art. I just felt completely limited by my own thinking. And I'm sure that that's how you have felt, potentially how you feel right now. Plus, look at the year. Look at what's happened this year. We're still in lockdown. We're unlikely to get any sense of normality for at least another 6 months. They keep changing the goalposts on a daily basis. So are you going to actually be driven by what's going on externally around you? Or are you going to take control and do something that you've always wanted to do? And if you decide that's what you want to do, here's how. Here's how. And I'm not selling you anything right here. I'm going to tell you how I did it. I just started. I drew my first pencil drawing, and it was the dog. I painted my first painting, and it was Born to Be. And it came from a place from my soul that I knew I was born to be an artist. I knew I was born to be creative. I knew I was born to do more than I was doing. That's why the first painting in 25 years was called Born to Be. 55 on Saturday. It's never too late. Just do it. Thank you so much. Totally with you in the 55 club there. It is never too late. Look at me. 55, and I know more about tech than some of the younger people. Not my nephew, Nathan. He knows more than me. But a lot of people that I know 10 years younger than me don't know as much as I do, because I've made it my business to go out there and find out. I've gone out and said, right, how do you do this? And I've locked myself in a room with my laptop until I knew how to do it. I've stayed in the room until I knew how to do it, until I could walk out and say, right, now I know how to do this thing. Then I moved on to the next thing. And I stayed in the room until I knew how to do that. And then until I knew how the two things were connected. And then I left the room, and not before. So I have worked very, very hard this last year and a half to understand what I needed in order to build this business that I now have. Now, I also hired a mentor, and I invested in a mentor, and that was the best investment I've made in probably the last 10 years, who has taught me and filled the gaps. She's a lot younger than me, a lot more up to date on the online business world than me. And she was able to fill in the gaps for me, because why wouldn't you seek help if you need your accounts doing? You don't try and muddle through and do it yourself and get it wrong and get a fine from HMRC. You go and hire an accountant. You're going to sell your house, you're going to hire a lawyer or an estate agent. It's no different. So stop making excuses. If you are making excuses right now about why you can't follow your dream, your heart's desire, your soul's purpose, what your gut is telling you to do, stop it. Stop making excuses and just do it. That's what Gary said to me. Now, bearing in mind, in this last year and a half, where I have gone from knowing nothing about the online world to having an online business, I now have six digital assets that I sell at different price points. I have my artwork, I have my books, I've got this whole business built around me with 11 different income streams in total. That's how to build a successful business. Did I know that a year and a half ago? Nope. Do I know how to do it really well now? Yes, I do, because I stayed in the room with the laptop until I understood it. I had a mentor to help me, did what I needed to do to understand how to break down those excuses and those barriers to doing the thing that I wanted to do, which was to create beautiful art that was meaningful, that had depth to it and hidden meaning to it, that can be put in front of somebody and can move them, that can leave people asking questions, that can be controversial, all of those things. That's what I want to create in the world. I don't want to create pretty pictures. I want to create controversy. I want to create a piece of art that has people asking questions. What do you want to create? Tell me. What is it that you want to create and bring to this planet that was not there before you decided to do it? And that's what I love about the message and the journey that painting started me on. And I will always love that painting, even though I don't consider it to be my best painting, because it was where I started with the brush and paint again. And it took me on a journey to discovering myself, to discovering what I was capable of, to pushing me through my own barriers, and to creating the business that hopefully will take me to my Scottish castle in the future. So are you going to sit there today and make a list of excuses as to why you can't change your life, why you can't have a successful business, why you can't take that really scary first step into the thing that you really want to do and make it work for you? Are you going to write that list of excuses, or are you just going to make a list and say, I'm going to learn how to do all of this? I'm going to sit in the room with the door shut with my laptop till I know how to do it. I'm going to actually make this change happen in my life, because it's going to make me feel better in the long run. Might be hard initially, might be tough initially, might need to hire somebody along the way, but I'm going to take this leap of faith, because if Mandy can do it at 55 and Rebecca can do it at 55, create a piece that inspires and connects. It's already happened a few times. So life affirming. It so is, isn't it, Rebecca? And I get what you're saying there, because when you have, I'm working on a piece now that is so meaningful. And do you know what's happening? I'm going to talk about this just because it's behind me. So any of you that have been following me, that have listened to me havering on here on a weekly basis, will know what this painting behind me means. This came from a vision that I had in a spiritual future life progression with an amazing lady called Stella Tudor, who does future life vision, and you're in a hypnotic state, and she takes you to your future. And in this future life progression, she had me talking to my future self, to ask my future self if I was doing the right things and if I was on the right path. And this future self wasn't in this lifetime. This future self was a couple of generations away. And I was talking to my future self and asking my future self if I was doing the right things. And all of a sudden, Gary, my late husband, who died on the 29th of April this year, in amongst all of this, guys, in amongst COVID, in amongst me stepping outside of my comfort zone and starting this dream business, my husband died. And in this future life progression, he turned up and he was holding my hand. He just came and stood by me and grabbed hold of my hand and said, listen. So this is what this future vision looked like to me. This is what I saw. This painting is actually that. It's me, future me, with Gary, because what he said was listen. And since then, the message has been that he is my spirit guide and he is going to be with me through this lifetime and however long. Now, you can choose to say that's a load of crap, or you can choose to believe that. Depends on what you believe in life, doesn't it? So this piece is personal. This piece needs to look a certain way. And what's happening with this piece is I'm actually filming it from start to finish for a program about how to paint that I'm currently creating. So I'm using this particular piece behind me. It's very different to the other things that I've done to teach people how to paint something. So there are no limits. Once you start and you step into your power and you make that decision to not hold on to those limiting beliefs and to not allow the excuses to sit on that piece of paper as excuses, but to sit on that piece of paper as a to-do list, then anything is possible. You can do absolutely anything. And everything you do matters. It doesn't matter if you create something amazing and you post it on the internet and one person looks at it. If you touch that one person, then you know what? You did your job. And I show up here for the people who want me, who want to listen to what I've got to say, who may feel inspired to do something because of something that I've said, or may feel inspired to push themselves even further because I've said, stop making excuses. If I'm 55 and I can do it, so can you. And if while I was doing it, my husband died and I'm still doing it, where are your excuses now? Because there are none. So if you find that harsh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry, not sorry really, because it's true. I know we don't all have my resolve and we don't all have my leadership skills or focus or business experience, but we all have something. We all have something really, really special. And it's only us, it's only ourselves that talks us out of it. In actual fact, you've all got as much as me to bring to this world. You've just got to dig deep and be prepared to do it. So that's really what I wanted to share with you tonight. This is the last week that I'll be sharing posts based on my painting Born to Be, and then it's business as usual with business training and posts about business and creativity, because that's what I do. And in future months, I don't know when, I'll pick up on the next painting that I did and do the same with that and talk to you in detail about what happened in painting number 2 and what that means. And I'll pull out a load more of your excuses for not starting to do something, because there are none. So this live tonight is sent to you with love and with confidence that I know that you can do whatever it is that you want to do, that you really are passionate about doing, and that there are no excuses. So it's sent with love, but it's also sent with a bit of a challenge of JFDI. Somebody that loved me challenged me to just do it, and I did. And I just want you to do the same. Sorry, that wasn't intended, but that's why I've shown up tonight. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. And I wish you nothing but the best.